Hello everyone, welcome to our Let's Play series of Shadowrun Dragonfall. This is Colonel RPG as usual, and I'm very happy that you're chose to join me today as we took care of Paul Amsel's funeral, sort of, wake, sort of. I mean, he hasn't been buried yet, but I think Iger is going to take care of it. But Glory wants us to look at the optical chip that we got, so let's do that. Oh, I didn't realize we could have done this. Yeah, well, I might have done it if I knew, because I could save in between episodes, and this way it's just a quick save. It doesn't matter. We're gonna move on, and everybody's going in the same direction as if to tell me where to go. I know where to go. You don't need to tell me. Where do you need me to go? Also, people leveled up. They're finally level 6. So level 6 plus 1 body plus 2 quickness, 1 action point. Is that what it is? There's a space over there, and I am very suspicious of that space. Either way, let's see what we have. Speed loader. Iger gains the ability to that reloads all of her equipped weapons at 0 action points. Cooldown of 7, and I got the hiccups. Iger gains an ability that can target 2 enemies in 1 action. Cost 1 action point. Cooldown 3. I think that is more important, honestly, because she's kind of support, but she's also opening. She opens some fights. And also she supports most of the fights. This would be for support. This would be for support and for opening. So I'm just going to go with that. And that's it. Confirm all. Yes, let's... Oh. This is just gain ability. These are for replacing. Because I have the Dragon Slayer idol. This is the Dragon Slayer's Wrath. He gains 1 body, quickness, strength, charisma, willpower, action points, throwing weapons, spellcasting, conjuring, spirit summoning, spirit control. 2 spirit summoning is pretty awesome. Dietrich's idol grows more powerful, decreasing incoming damage by an additional 2 points. Costs 1 action point, radius of 3, duration of 3. We're not going to need that. It is very powerful to use this, and in fact, if you're playing on higher difficulties, you absolutely have to. But this game on normal, you can get by without actually understanding how the game works. That's how I did it in my first Let's Play. Because, yeah, I just didn't understand things like... there were things that I didn't understand properly. I remember. I think specifically regarding cover, it took me a while to catch on. But either way, the point is, normal is fine, but his abilities are very, very useful. I don't know if I want to go with them. The Dragon Slayer now harms all foes within 3 tiles of Dietrich for 16 damage. On subsequent rounds, targets take 5 HP damage and 1 action point damage. What do you mean the now harms people? I'm gonna go with that, but I don't know what now means. Because did it harm? Did it do anything? Because it says now harms all foes. Did it harm any foes before? Either way, Glory's Arsenal Pump... Oh, wait. That is indeed, yes, level 5. She gets 1 body, 1 quickness, strength, intelligence, action point, ranged combat, 2 closed combat. Yeah, she's better at that. 2 throwing weapons, 1 biotech, 1 dodge, 1 pistol, and 1 unarmed. Yeah, close combat is an increment, although she might have gotten more pistol before. Trauma Specialist 2, gain an upgraded Bumona kit. I don't need that. Gain a Ruger Super Warhawk. Now, I do need that, though. And this level is very much, even though it is for +2 close combat, it might have to do with the fact that she gets her best weapon over here. This does 14 damage, 6 capacity, and 4 armor pierce in comparison to whatever was happening before. That specialist, that's different. Okay, pretty cool. And Blitz gets 1 body, quickness, charisma, intelligence, action, 2 intelligence, in fact. 2 decking, that's pretty awesome. SMG, only the S is capitalized. Yeah, I think the spaces are just in lieu of periods. It's fine. And then he gets pain suppression. While Blitz is jacked into the Matrix, attacks on his physical body are reduced by 3 damage. That's kind of cool. Let's not let that happen. So this is the one that I'm going to go with, most likely. Integrated tactical computer marks weak points in an opponent's armor. Blitz's mark target ability now reduces the target's armor by 2. Which I believe means that it reduced it by 1? I mean, I like it. Let's go with that. Are short? Yes. And that's it. Right? I think that's it. You need to... Sure. Okay. Hey, Dante. Dante lifts his head and looks up at you, mournfully. The feral aggression is gone from his eyes. He's changed. You can see it. But it's still Dante. So, Edie, Dante was very helpful out there, but I'm a bit concerned about his ability to petrify people that he doesn't like and then rend their flesh with tooth and claw? Yeah. That bothers me too. He's not a normal dog. Not by a long shot. Is he possessed? I assume you've checked his aura and discovered he's part hellhound. Monica trained him for months to be combat ready. We had a hellhound in the house and Monica didn't tell us? For months? Hidi has him under control. Dante performed well in the field. Followed commands flawlessly. I have no concerns. Welcome to the team, Dante. Yeah. I have no concerns either. But it is a situation, isn't it? It is a situation. Okay, how do I exit? Oh, I need to click confirm. Gotcha. So, let's look at the mission computer. Let's check my inbox just in case. You have no unread messages. Let's access the Shadowrun BBC. I don't have pay data for sale, but I can get a little bit of payment. That's a little bit of payment. It's not too much, but I also don't need it. Shattenest under siege, writes Yast. All-out war, excuse me, all-out war is broken out between the Rambok and several mercenary groups. Not sure who started it, not sure if it matters. If I were you, I'd stay the hell away until they have finished killing each other. I knew that place was a powder keg, writes Wraithlike44, but this is a bit much. Has anyone made it out of there safely? And Tolstoy replies, streets aren't safe at the moment. If people aren't out already, they'd better have some food and water stockpiled. The Shockvelon writer posted something about the Lobachevsky, but I haven't been able to find any evidence to corroborate that. Like Yast claims, it's just the Rambok defending their turf against these free agents. I'm not sure what the political implications of that is, because I don't know the names, so I don't actually understand. Within the setting, I don't understand exactly what that was. But either way, that's sort of the Shadowrun aficionados, I suppose, or people who know the setting. You don't need to be an aficionado to know the setting. Blue Beard writes, like it says, good condition, clean. Oh, yeah, I didn't read the title. Got the turbocharger kit. Sorry, got the turbocharged kit. Additional armor plating added to the front and sides. Trunk has a mounted Ares autocannon, but you'll need a rigger to operate it. No hand access. Looking, yeah, so you needed a rigger indeed. Looking for 80,000 nuyen. OBO. I think that's only. The last O is only, and this is on board only? Something like that? But I don't know what that means. It's not. I think it must be an initialism for in real life as well. Ruby writes, nice car. Wouldn't happen to be any corpse looking for it at the moment, eh? Tolstoy writes, has the PPS been triggered? Any wrecks rebuild? Bluebeard writes, nope, all clear on that front. Nobody drove this baby but me, and I don't wreck cars. The autocannon dropped the last sucker who tried to do any damage. That's it's an interesting thing. We're not going to have cars, though. At least I don't think so. Let's read the contents of Alice's optical chip. You slot the optical chip into the computer's waiting chip jack. On the screen, Alice's office blossoms into view. A half-second later, a real-time simulation of Alice appears, seated behind her mahogany desk. Something about it reminds you of a figure from a wax museum, lifelike but dead inside. It greets you with a facsimile? I believe it's facsimile of Alice's joyless smile. Customer, name Edie. Its voice is hollow, synthetic, an automaton masquerading as a living woman, one who you have never met in the flesh. Account number 1012579. Greetings, valued customer. I am an offline simulacrum of Alice Persona. Of the Alice Persona, sorry. I have been included on this chip to answer any questions that you might have about your information purchase. Nifty piece of tech, says Blitz. Not now, Blitz. If you are ready to proceed, I will present Alice's findings. You may interrupt this presentation at any point by saying, Alice, I have a question. Is that the only thing you'll respond to, or can I talk to you like a normal person? The simulacrum hitches slightly. You may interrupt this presentation at any point by saying, Alice, I have a question. That answers that. Yeah, we're ready. Let's get the show on the road. Very well. Commencing presentation. The simulacrum goes rigid for a moment and then seems to relax. When it speaks, it sounds more natural, as though the real Alice is speaking through it. Alright, Edie, I've got good news for you, and I've got bad news. Let's start with the good news. I found Vauclair, and he's alive. Thank God, says Dietrich. The trail to your missing doctor was a long and slippery one. The fee that you paid me barely covered my costs for the job. I sent a team into the SOX on a fact-finding mission. I bribed government officials. I greased the palms of wage slaves at megacorps all across Europe. Each step I took eliminated possibilities, drew me a little bit closer. And finally, I found the place where Vauclair is being held. The simulacrum makes a sweeping gesture with its right hand, and an image switchblades onto the screen. A grainy overhead photograph annotated with map coordinates. You recognize it immediately. This is where you'll find him. He is being held captive at a remote estate called the Harebrained Manor. You gotta be kidding me. He was there the whole time? Asks Edie. Oh, sorry, asks Dietrich. Glory says nothing, she just studies the photograph and nods. Okay, nobody tell me, I get it. This is something else that I missed, says Blitz. If this was the good news, I can't wait to hear the bad news. The simulacrum pauses, and a brief terror washes over its body. Its eyes flutter, and you can hear the sound of your computer working to process more of the chip's data. Iger turns to address the team. If Vauclair's at Harfeld, we've got problems. The last time we broke into that place, they took Monica out. It was a miracle that any of you got out alive. Yeah, but now we know what's down there. This time we'll be prepared for it. We can handle this. Iger shakes her head. No. It'll be even worse this time. The first time we went in, we had the element of surprise on our side, but now they'll be expecting us. They're hunting us, remember? Their security team is going to be waiting for us, Dietrich. That Audran bastard is going to be waiting for us. And even if we make it past them, we're going to have to deal with the dragon in the basement. Well, what else can we do? Cut and run? The last time I checked, that wasn't an option either. Even if it were, I wouldn't take it. I'm not running from this. Not after what they did here tonight. None of us are, Glory. But Iger's right. We can't just go charging in there again. Not without some kind of edge. The simulacrum jerks back to life. It resumes speaking, blissfully unaware of the conversation that it's cutting off. And now, Edie, on to the bad news. You now know where Vauclair is, but rescuing him will not be possible. Alice, I have a question. Dietrich continues without waiting for a response. Why the hell not? In the course of my investigation, I encountered something terrifying in the Matrix. It was fast, cunning, and very definitely intelligent. Intelligent, yes, but definitely. Very definitely intelligent. I'm convinced that I only escaped because it let me go. It could have killed me in a heartbeat if it wanted to. This thing that I met is protecting the Harfeld Manor, and it's going after anyone who gets too close to what's happening there. Alice, what did you see in there? What is going on after these people? By way of explanation, I would like you to read the following document. The simulacrum makes another sweeping gesture, and the menu slides back onto the screen. This time, it is filled with text. What you're looking at is an archived forum discussion from the early days of the Shadowrun BBS. Blitz stares at the text on the screen. Isn't kidding, Chief. This discussion is dated back to 2036. That's ancient history in the decking community. It probably isn't even correct to call these guys deckers. Hackers would be the more appropriate term. When you're finished reading it over, say, Alice, I'm done, and we can continue. Let's read the archive discussion. As you lean in to read, the text slowly begins to scroll up from the bottom of the screen. You all hear, this is Clockwork writing. Y'all hear about the SK team that got crisped a few hours ago? A whole lab's worth of researchers, all burned and broken beyond recognition. Ugly stuff. Big Pharma writes, at this point, who hasn't? Mr. Mayhem writes, power spike got him right through their data jacks like a bolt of lightning to the brain. A 1 in a million accident, is what they're saying. Clockwork writes, and you believe that? Mr. Mayhem, got a more plausible explanation? Clockwork, yes, actually. It was a cleanup operation. Big Pharma writes, color me intrigued. What were they cleaning up? Clockwork writes, a secret project that Lofvir didn't want anything to do with. You might have heard rumors about it. The project name was Apex. Mr. Mayhem, and you've lost me. Apex? Writes Big Pharma. Clockwork, seriously? That old line of Drek? Clockwork writes, I'm telling you, jokers, Apex is real, or at least it was, until the Whizworm pulled the plug. Mr. Mayhem, come on, Clockwork. We're still decades away from seeing a fully functional AI. You know that. Those Apex stories that have been floating around, they're just some conspiracy nuts wet dream. Clockwork writes, fine. Keep your heads in the sand. Some of us know the truth when we read it. Big Pharma writes, okay, Clock, I'll humor you, but riddle me this. If Lofvir had an armed and operational AI in his claws, why kill it? You remember what happened to most of Echo Mirage? Clockwork asks. Mr. Mayhem replies, the crash virus killed them, fried their brains, but I don't see what that has to do with anything. Clockwork replies, with the commercial release of CDT-1000, some security firms are working on counter-intrusion software that could do the same thing. Black IC. You can look it up if you don't believe me. Big Pharma replies, whoa, scary stuff, man. Clockwork, and we know Black IC exists, by the way. I think, have we gone up against the Black IC? I don't know. There's just an enemy in the Matrix. It's nothing major. Clockwork replies, well, the goal of the Apex project was even scarier. IC waits for you to come to it. Apex wouldn't be bound by those restrictions. It could go out hunting, hit its targets when they least expect it. That's why they call it Apex. It was designed to be the apex predator of the digital world. Big Pharma says, and so rather than using it to his advantage, Lofvir decided to kill it in the cradle? Clockwork replies, the Whizworm's no fool. Some things are too dangerous to play around with. How would you put that genie back in the bottle if it ever slipped out of your control? Answer, you couldn't. Mr. Mayhem replies, and then it would take over the world. And with the exclamation marks and ones, which is a joke from 2000. Although, I still do it every once in a while. Some people do that. Is it from 2000? Nah, it's later than that. I wasn't on the internet at the time. I think it's like late decade of the 2010s. Either way, nobody does that anymore. Mostly because everybody writes on their phones, not on their keyboards. So there's no... People wouldn't understand where that comes from. And in fact, in some languages, you might not understand where that comes from. In Portuguese, the exclamation mark is in the one as well. So that happens because you hold shift and then you hold one as well. And then when you lift your hand, you lift your shift before you lift your one. And what happens is a bunch of exclamation marks and a one or two ones at the end. And that's what happens. So yeah, you probably understand this. But if your keyboard, like, I think Spanish keyboards, the exclamation mark is over the number 3? Question mark is number 1, I think. And the inverted question mark is on in number 2. I think it is like that. I'm not sure. Because I've seen Spanish keyboards. I don't have them working as Spanish keyboards, but I have seen them. Either way, the point is English is like that. On the shift 1 is for exclamation marks, but anyway. Captain Chaos replies, okay, this thread has officially gone off the rails. I'm closing it down for the good of mankind. The slow control of texts, or the slow scroll of text comes to a stop. Alice, I'm done. The simulacrum jerks back to life, then settles into a neutral position. There are no official records in the Sauter Krupp database to support the existence of the Apex project, but the thing that I encountered was Apex. Of that, I'm certain. Just as I am certain that Apex was responsible for the death of Monica Schaffer? Potentially. Green Winters, Clockwork, Peregrine, and a score of other Deckers over the last 16 years. Litz raises his hand. Hold up, Alice, I have a question. I thought they said that Lofvir killed Apex? They speculated as much, yes. They were wrong on that account. I do believe that Sauter Krupp was developing Apex as a tool for Matrix warfare. I'm also convinced that the IT personnel who were killed were the Apex development team. I don't think that Loveveer was responsible for their deaths. Apex killed them, says Glory. That'd be my guess, says the Simulacrum. Yes, in the turmoil surrounding Loveveer's buyout of Satyr Krupp, a number of projects went missing. I believe that Apex was appropriated by a member of Fire Shringa's organization at this point. It was then unleashed on its own development team to silence them. Since then, it has provided information control for Firewing. A pet AI would explain how Fire Shringa has managed to maintain her conspiracy and avoid detection for the past 2 decades. Anytime anyone gets close, the AI takes them out and scrubs the records clean. So there's your bad news, Edie. Vauclair is being held at the Harfeld Manor. But knowing that does you no good, because you can't approach the place. I doubt that you could open the door without Apex frying you. We did it last time, says Dietrich. They were trying to protect their secret. Like Audron said, if we hadn't gone down into the basement, they'd have let us go. Apex didn't didn't react to us until Monica attempted to force the door to the basement. And now that the cat is out of the bag, they have no reason not to pull out the big guns on sight. Dietrich grimaces. You're right. We can't go back while Apex is in place. The room falls silent. Finally, Iger turns to you. What's the play, Edie? We can't turn back now. If Apex is standing between us and Vauclair, then we need to find a way to kill Apex. Fucking A, boss. I'm in. Did you hear that, Alice? Do you have any suggestions? The Simulacrum hitches again. Actually, that last line was, I didn't make her voice, but that was Iger. Not anybody else was Iger. The Simulacrum hitches again. The pause stretches. Finally, it comes back to life. The AI has a kill switch, but Alice deemed any additional contact with Apex to be an unjustifiable risk. Attempting to reach the kill switch would be inadvisable. But Alice... Wait, I thought I was talking to Alice. Not to the AI. Save me the warnings. I'm going to kill this thing. I owe Monica that much. You and me both, says Dietrich. Alice, tell us about the Apex's kill switch. The Simulacrum stares at you with dead eyes. Thanks to my close encounter with the AI, I was able to run a trace on it. Through this trace, I discovered the physical address of a backdoor access point for Apex's programming, an old Satyr Krupp research lab, long since abandoned and fallen into disrepair. The facility is now hotly contested gang territory. I have also determined that a kill switch for the AI exists somewhere in the basement of this facility. I'll provide you with a physical address. I don't like the smell of this, Chief. It said that Apex let Alice escape. He turns to address the Simulacrum on the screen. Alice, why would a Matrix Warfare AI allow you to run a trace on it? It stares straight again. Its eyes are dead. I'm afraid that the answer to that question falls outside of the scope of my written parameters. The Simulacrum stutters one final time and then looks up at you with an apologetic smile. We have now reached the end of this presentation. I have been encoded with a final message from Alice to Edie. Playback commencing. The Simulacrum's eyes go wide and the life floods back into it. It stares directly at you. Edie, if you didn't listen to me before, listen to me now. Drop this. Stop going after Vauclair. Get out of Berlin and stay out of the Matrix. I'm telling you this for your own good. That's all I have to say. I'm following my own advice. I'm out. Don't try to contact me again. The Simulacrum reverts to its idle state, slumping like a puppet with its strings cut. Its eyes glaze over and its face goes slack. And then the screen cuts to black. So the Dragon has a killer AI in charge of security. I can't say I'm surprised, but then nothing surprises me anymore, says Glory. Well, we're going to have to deal with that killer AI in the next episode because we're out of time for the day. So for right now, I'm Colonel RPG, and this has been Shadowrun Dragonfall. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, go ahead and leave a comment. Like the video if you want to see the next episode come out sooner rather than later. But above all, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next episode. Bye-bye.